watching it there. And today I want to discuss one particular verse or passage in the Jewish scriptures or the Torah. And it's precisely from the book of Leviticus or Vayikra. And the verses our passage is 19 verse 27. Now it doesn't matter if you're like a Christian watching and or a Jewish brother or sister, they basically read the same, the King James and the Jewish Publication Society. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to read it right now so you can hear what it says. It says, I'm just going to read right here out of this book here. Anyway, and I'll put it on the screen so you can, I'll take a picture of it, so I'll put it on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about, okay? Leviticus 19:27. Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. And so, what does those passages mean? Or what does that passage mean? These two particular commandments. And so, marring or rounding the corners, or be precise, let's see, what does it say? Do not round the corners of your heads, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. So, what this is talking about in Jewish biblical law is, I'm going to back up for a second. When I was a kid, when I read the beard commandment, I kind of reasoned with myself. It didn't last for very long till I saw things in a different way, just on my own. And I was like, well, that only applies if you have a beard, and it's actually quite the opposite. This set of commandments actually commands you have to have a beard in order to not mar the beard, okay? It's the opposite. Not if you have a beard, then don't mar it, okay? So in the last few days, I've been growing out my facial hair just so you can see, okay? So according to biblical law, you cannot, what that means is, you probably seen like basketball players and people, like if you watched the Marvel comics, like Iron Man, Downey Jr., how he has his facial hair all cut and, in a certain way. You are not allowed to put straight edges anywhere. So you see how kind of wild or natural, just all natural it is. So I cannot take a razor like this. Let me take this attachment off right here. You cannot take a thing, make a straight edge across like that. So you'll see, and I'll put pictures of people, take some off of Google Images or something of people who have done that, so you can see what I'm talking about. You are not allowed to do that. It has to be like all natural, like that, totally left alone according to that commandment. Now, my beard is not long enough as far as the commandment goes. Now, there has to be kind of an oral law because it's not very precise. So you kind of have to have like a type of oral law added, because someone might ask, well, how long are you supposed to have your beard? Or the minimum would be the better question. What is the minimum length the male has to have before you can cut the length? Because the length doesn't matter. Like if you have it down here, you cut it this way, zigzag it. Don't matter about that, how long you want it. However, there has to be at least a minimum length, and my rule was 2 fingers wide. Okay, so it's about inch and an eighth, inch and a quarter, something like that. I don't have a measuring thing right here. I do behind me somewhere, but like here's one right here. Full of dust, so I don't want to get I'm a stone artist, so I got a lot of dust in the shop. So it's 2.5. So I would say, 2 fingers, 1.5. 2 fingers is 1.5 inches long. Okay, I don't know what that is in foreign country measurements. I don't know about that. Anyway, So when you pull your hair out like this, not, your cheek pulling with it, it's a cheat, but from your skin to like that, and you pull it out, it has to be at least 2 fingers long. That's just kind of an oral tradition, because there has to be a difference between a between a beard and scruff, or shadow. A shadow is not a beard; it's just scruff. And so, anyway, now if you have an attachment like this, that's at least kind of a quarter and a half, or an inch and a half long, wide. You could like that. You could do that, and you could trim it to the minimum size if you want. If you don't want a long beard at all. So that was kind of like an oral law that I had, that you would have to keep, as a bare minimum, so you actually have a blunt beard and not shadow and not scruff. Right now I judge myself as scruffy. It's not, a beard at all. So anyway, my hair's all messed up, been letting that grow out, and so what's it mean to, what's it say, that ye shall not round the corners of your head. So if I were to take this hat off like this, it means like do not take the razor here and just shave it tight like the American military and a lot of military do around the country, and other countries as well. And so that's what I meant to say. So no, you cannot, like you see a lot of sports players, you can't make it bald, you can't make it, peach fuzz tight, none of that. That's not allowed. So you have to have like the finger and a half. Now the Hasidic people, they judge that don't cut it ever right here. So that's why you see the pios right there, the side curls, and but that is not commanded to never trim it. You can. There has to be a certain limit. So yeah, you could have a bushy type hairdo, just wild and natural, yeah. But you cannot, round it. Can't make yourself bald on deliberate. Now, there's only one commandment when you trim all your hair, and that's dealing with the cleanliness ritual of being cleansed from leprosy, whatever the so-called leprosy is. Not where your arms fall off, but it's a skin issue where it's ooze and yuck. That's where you would have to deal with that type of ritual. Regardless of its, whatever skin irritation or plague or something like that, not just leprosy. It just means kind of a skin issue. So another one is the Nazarite vow. Once you fulfill the Nazarite vow, you shave off all your hair. Now, it doesn't say shave it till bald per se. I mean, it's not really precise, and that hardcore law is not really passed down. So I would personally trim it to your skin. That's how I would do that one. But as far as that marring or rounding off the sides of your head is also including women, obviously. And women are commanded to have long hair. As we see, there's a kind of a leaning to a oral commandment that's not been passed down, but it's there. It's kind of said in a brief thing. It's like when a wife, it's in Numbers 5, when a man suspects his wife to be fooling around, but he can't prove it because there's no witnesses or anything like that. And this, like I said, it's in Numbers 5, so he takes his wife to the high priest, and there's a certain ritual he does about drinking bitter water. The girl drinks bitter water, and there in the wording it says the priest shall let down her hair. So that tells you it has to be a certain, it has to be long in order to let down her hair, because it's in a bun somehow or propped up somehow. So we can see by these particular things that women have to have long hair according to the Torah. And men, they could have, keep it long as they want, or short, but not shorter than 2 fingers, you know. And there, because that's when you're, you know, rounding the size of your head, so you can't do that or anywhere. You know, some people do zigzags in their hair, make art type looks to it. You know, put words in the back. No, you can't do any of that. So not under that length anyway. You can if you could figure it out longer than that. But so yeah, so that's basically what I was saying. So you can't do it. You can't do straight edges on the top, and you can't do it on the bottom. Nowhere. And so this is all I wanted to say today on Leviticus 19, verse 27. So men, if you're out there and you want to keep the Torah, you have to have a beard at least 2 fingers thick, you know, all the way around. Now, once it's past that, you could take you can make it all even flow so it looks all nice. Mine's all scraggly because it's not long enough to with this size, you know, to make it all smooth on these particular sizes I got on this one with me today. But keep that in mind. I just want to point that out because eventually I want to make a whole video on Leviticus 19, and so this is it, and thank you for